Hey everyone, welcome to a gameplay video with this mono blue terror deck I have in front of me. My name is Thomas Gunn, co-host of the Common Ground MtG Pauper podcast, and I've been talking a big game about this deck. The last several episodes, whenever I've offered my suggestion of what I would play in either our local tournament or league or whatever, I've been like, mono blue terror. I think it feels good. I think it looks good on paper. It's had a lot of good results and challenges over the last few weeks. So I'm going to put my money where my mouth is today, and we're going to play this list. This is 73 out of 75 of MtGO's third place list from the challenge on the 9th that we'll talk about in the episode this week, except for two changes. I have cut a Spell Pierce in the main and a Dispel in the sideboard for Sleep of the Dead. It's a 1-mana sorcery that can tap a creature down, and you can cast it out of your graveyard for an escape cost. I think this is really good against Gruul specifically. I could be wrong, but that's my sense of why this card has been showing up in deck lists here and there. And so I thought if Gruul is still really popular, I'd like to have a couple little bullets here against it. Although the deck may already be fairly favored with boomerangs, bouncing lands with Utopia Sprawls on them. Counter spells are pretty good against things that are trying to affect the board outside of the Cascade creatures. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, this is basically MtGO's list for the most part, other than those two changes. And yeah, let's take it for a spin. I've only played this list, or a version of this list, once before. I top forward one of our Nashville locals with a mono blue list. Had a lot of fun playing it. So we'll see how this goes. Okay. I like this hand. We have Island and Lorien Revealed, so we kind of have two lands. We are on the draw, but that's fine. We have a Delver to start off. We've got a Terror, some interaction. This hand is fine. We'll go ahead and F6 through the turn. Or we get a Great Furnace. So my first thought is Kuldotha. So I'm wondering if it... I mean, I might... Well... We could potentially Spell Pierce a Synthesizer or a Rebirth. And if they don't do anything of relevance, we can just cycle with Lorien Revealed. And we might want to do that just to guarantee our second land. So I'm going to hold up Spell Pierce or Lorien Revealed here. As much as we might want to develop Delver as soon as possible, I'm not really interested in Delver just dying right off the bat. And I think we'll go ahead and Spell Pierce this Reckless Impulse. I'm going to pop out these graveyards. Also, since this is our first video, we have an island. So I'm going to go ahead and run out the Delver. There's a world where maybe I want to let the Reckless Impulse go and have Spell Pierce back up with the Delver in play, but I think this is fine. Galvanic Blast, that's fine. Another Reckless Impulse. Sure. They see Mountain and Synthesizer. I'm going to go ahead and cast Mental Note, I think. Okay. We've got a Terror, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 spells. Would be 5. If we hit one more, then we can just play both Terrors. I kind of like those odds. Let's Mental Note. Okay, we hit one more. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's just run out both Terrors. This should be pretty difficult for them to deal with. Nothing of relevance in the graveyard quite yet. Synth hits Galv Blast. Oh, why is that all the way over there? Ren's Resolve hits Implement Mountain. They cast the Implement. Their impulse effects have not been the most impactful. This looks like a version similar to my burn list, actually. Let's go ahead and brainstorm. Okay. I'm gonna put Delver. Well, I don't really want to mill any of these. Well, we might want to mill the Sleep of the Dead. Let's put Delver and Sleep of the Dead on top. We'll play Island. We'll attack. We'll just hold up Counterspell. Basically looking to counterspell a creature, most likely, so we can just attack for lethal next turn. Except for that one. That one's fine. Probably going to counterspell a creature, he says. Just clicking through counterspelling a creature. But that's okay. We can mill the Sleep of the Dead, and we can tap it down, and then we're fine. All right, and they are packing it in. Okay, so mono red, like burn-ish. I think we'll just bring in the Hydroblasts. And we'll cut... What will we cut? Maybe a couple boomerangs. They're not the most mana efficient things in the world here. Could also see a world where I like Murmuring Mystic. I like Dispel also. They have a fair amount of instants. I'm just gonna cut all the boomerangs actually. I'm just gonna cut all the boomerangs. Because they play on a pretty low land count, so we're not trying to like boomerang their lands. And boomeranging their artifacts isn't gonna do anything for us. This has a lot of counter magic. I'm just gonna keep it. Tomb Raider. Okay, so they do have Tomb Raiders. Ooh, Hydroblast is a great draw. We have so much interaction here. Probably going to try and Spell Pierce or Dispel something rather than Hydroblast. So we can use Hydroblast as well. I was thinking of using Hydroblast as a kill spell, but I'm just going to use Hydroblast. Counter target spell. We're just going to counter the Flame Breather. This looks like a version of the red deck that is similar to my Pinger burn list. So we're going to get the Flame Breather off the table. That's their best creature easily. And we'll just pass with Counterspell or double Milling Cantrip. Feeling good, feeling good, feeling in good shape. All right, they have an artifact. Okay, they're going to get in for 2. Ren's Resolve. I'll Spell Pierce that. Sooner you can... Oh, they might have Red Blast here. They're thinking. Relic. Okay. Okay, maybe we are not going to Mental Note here. We're just going to draw. That's fine. Say go. Of course, there's an argument that while they're tapped out and they can't activate the relic, that's probably a reasonable time. But I'm going to try and get them to a point where they're not really doing much and feel like they just need to get a card off of the relic. It's kind of my thought. I might fire off one of them here, either the Mental Note or the Thought Scour. Rebirth. We'll counterspell Rebirth. That's a lot of 1/1s. All right, I'm gonna Mental Note. Okay, they give us priority. I wonder if it's worth Thought Scouring here. Probably not. We're just gonna hold back. Yep, I will exile a card. I'll exile this island. Synthesizer. That's fine. They find Great Furnace. Maybe it was worth counterspelling the synth. I'm going to Thought Scour again. I'm going to mill myself. Really want to get them to pop this relic. We drew a terror. Okay, so let's see if they give us priority. They do give us priority of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we just get to cast this terror. So they did not pop the relic. So that's something to note when you're playing against these decks. Yeah, good job. When you're playing against these decks, you really want to crack the relic before your opponent's going to have priority to cast a terror or something like that. Like, even if you're only nabbing like 4 cards out of the graveyard and only 2 of those are spells, if they had, then in order to cast the terror, I would have needed to fully tap out. But I also Thought Scoured on their end step, and they could have counted 5 spells, and so yeah, I'm definitely going to block. Chain Lightning, pay the ward. I'm going to Hydroblast this instead of Counterspell because I want to be able to leave Dispel up to fire back. Because if I tap out for Counterspell here and they have a backup Red Blast, then I'm screwed. So, Implement is fine. Okay, cool. So we got a Terror in through the Relic. I'm going to go ahead and mental note here. We're still holding up double Counterspell. Feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good about this. Pretty good. All right, moving on. They have 1 card in hand, drawing to 2. Could potentially draw to 3 off the Implement. Can see another card off of the Synth if they want to sack that. Looks like they're gonna, they're gonna start by sacking the Synthesizer. They find a Relic. That's okay, because we already have a Terror in play. But I think I am going to counter this so that we can have cheap Terrors down the line. And my hand's pretty stocked with counterspells still. Let's attack. Maybe. There we go. Let's get in. They're not blocking. Interesting. We'll run out the Delver. And if they want to fight over this Delver, I'm just going to let them do it. I'd rather protect Terror at this point. I go to 12. They'll draw a card off the Implement here. 3 cards. They already played a land this turn. Another Implement, that's fine. So they're just kind of spinning their wheels, looking for, like, trying to get me into Fire Blast range. Like double Fire Blast range, especially. No attack is fascinating to me. All right, Blind Delver flip. Are we lucky? Delver? I will not reveal Delver of Secrets. I will attack with Tolarian Terror. Are they going to block and like try to bolt, pay 2 reward? Interesting. Play another Delver. Looks like it. Okay, pay a ward. And we'll dispel the bolt. Big fan of Dispel in this matchup. I know I cut one for the Sleep of the Dead, but when it's good, it's very good. Okay, Cracking Implement. I go to 11. Looking good, feeling good. Epicure's fine. Go to 10. Really just holding this counter spell for if they fire off a Fire Blast or something like that. All right, let's flip these Delvers. Lowering revealed. Oh, baby. Let's flip these Delvers. I'm not going to cast Lowering Revealed. Let's attack for lethal. Force the block on Terror. now they have a lot of threats to deal with. Probably going to... But it only has 1 damage. I don't understand what they're doing. I'm going to let this lightning bolt happen. Okay, they're off it. That might have been a misclick. All right, cool. We're up 1-0. A very quick victory against Pinger Coldotha Red. Sick. Our opponent didn't play super optimally there. But it can be difficult to... If you're unfamiliar with the matchup, it can be difficult to understand exactly when you're supposed to fire off your Relic of Progenitus. It can be unintuitive because the thing that you think of immediately in your mind, at least I think, is that you want to crack the Relic when their graveyard is stocked so you can stop them all at once. But really, you kind of have to Relic when their graveyard is only like 3 to 5 cards and like 2 to 4 spells, because otherwise they can just untap and just cast a terror and you never get to do what you want to do. All right, but moving on. This hand is pretty sweet. A couple points of interaction. We've got an early Delver into Brainstorm if we want, which I think is what I'm going to lead on, seeing tapped white-black land. So this is probably, my guess would be something with... Ooh, Boomerang might be pretty clutch here. Going to run out the Delver. Something with Refurbished Familiar and potentially some Ephemerates, maybe. That's my first thought. We've got Ancient Den here. Thraben Inspector. Okay, yeah. So this is something like potentially like the Orzhov Blade deck. All right, yep, there's Refurbished Familiar. Okay, that's going to block pretty well, too. I'm going to discard Deep Analysis. Let's pop out these graveyards. Okay. Okay, so we have Delver Flip Trigger on the stack. I am gonna Brainstorm in response. And we're gonna put Island. No, we're gonna put Deep Analysis, Thought Scour on top. Because I want to reveal Thought Scour as like the potential thing I could do this turn. Reveal Thought Scour, yes. Then draw Thought Scour. And then we know we're milling another Deep Analysis into the bin. And we get to keep our island that we drew. Okay, so we're either going to Force Spike or Thought Scour. And I wonder if it's just... good to attack. I'm going to attack here because if they want to block, then it gets the familiar off the table. And they could probably buy it back with something like maybe Witch's Cottage. No, they won't have enough swamps for Witch's Cottage. Another Refurbished Familiar. Okay. That's fine. I'm just going to discard this island. Ephemerate. That I will Force Spike. Okay, so I was right about the Refurbished Familiar stuff. Ephemerate. Ooh, and a main deck Bajuga Bog. Very good, very good. Okay. This matchup could be a little tough. Upkeep. Thought Scour ourselves. Draw. Well, here's another Delver. Go ahead. I think we just need to find terrors really quickly. Core Skyfisher. Probably going to pick up the Familiar. Yep. Yep. I'm going to ditch the Boomerang. This Boomerang's not doing anything. They're a deck that wants to pick up their stuff and replay their stuff all day long. So, all right, let's see what we hit. Mental Note. Okay, we do get a flip. That's great news. Then the question is, are we holding up Counterspell? Or are we going to Deep Analysis? I'm not super huge on paying 3 life here, but we do need to hit lands and dig to terrors. If we Deep Analysis, let's see, we have 3 islands and 1 island in the bin, so that's 4, so 15, So there's 15 left if you include Lorien Revealed, but Lorien Revealed doesn't really count as an island in this scenario, so I think I'm inclined to leave up Counterspell, and if they don't do anything I care about, I can Mental Note. I'm just going to leave this back to block, ideally block the Skyfisher, I think. We'll block something. Cast Down. I'm going to Counterspell that, because otherwise I feel like I'm going to fall way too far behind. It's not ideal, but we do find ourselves a little behind. Okay. I'll trade with the Skyfisher. That's fine. Sack the Clue. Another Bog. Whoo, baby. Okay. And there's the Cryptic Serpent. All right, let's try and hit a land. We miss on land. Thought Scour ourselves. Okay, go. All right, we're going to take a hit here, but we have 1, 2, 3 spells, so we're still a ways off from getting the Serpent down. We're going to take some hits here. Glinthawk. Going to pick up the Familiar, I imagine, which actually kind of helps us get rid of one of these counter spells. Okay, is that enough? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we can get Cryptic Serpent down. I just find it hard to believe that they haven't had like a Tithing Blade or something like that. So I would not be surprised if this Cryptic Serpent dies. We're also getting clocked. It's a 3-turn clock in the air too, so we don't have a ton of time. Orzhov Basilica. Ooh, bouncing their Bojuka Bog. All right, well they get to bog us next turn. Let's Brainstorm. Ooh. So we have Brainstorm will be 1, Thought Scour 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 in the bin. So we can get another Terror down, at least 1. They're gonna bog us, so I'm trying to think of what 2 cards to put back. And at this point, does Counterspell do anything for us? We can only cast 1. Yeah, we can only cast 1 Terror because we can't keep Lorien Revealed in both Terrors. So I think I'm going to keep Counterspell Terror. Right? Or do we need to find like a bounce spell or a Delver and hope to flip it? I don't know if we're going to have enough time. We definitely have to keep a Terror. We're just probably a little too far behind here for this to really matter. I'm going to put back Terror Lorien Revealed. I'm going to cast this Terror. We'll attack with Cryptic Serpent. And at least we have Counterspell. We're going to draw into Lorien Revealed, which will ideally just get us an island. Yeah, there's the Tithing Blade. Okay. All right. And the bog. You're going to get in, put us to 2. And then that's gonna seal our fate. Okay. We lose game 1. I like these Orzhov decks. They're very, very strong. So Steel Sabotage is interesting to me. There's a decent amount of artifacts plus artifact lands that we can bounce. And Murmuring Mystic is also interesting to me. It helps insulate us against Tithing Blade. Not huge on Boomerang, but I kind of want a couple of them. Also not huge on Delver, if that makes sense. Well, Delver on the play is more interesting, actually. I think we'll hold on to Delvers when we're on the play, and maybe on the draw we'll cut them. They might be a little slow against all their cheap flyers. So what if we trim a couple considers? And actually, let's keep a consider. Let's cut these deep analyses. Maybe I just don't want these boomerangs at all. And I want the consider back and get the dispel in here to like help counter ephemerates and stuff and cast downs. Let's try this. Okay, here we go. All right, we are on the play for game 2. And we have a pretty good hand. I'll keep this. We're going to need some help filling up the graveyard for this Serpent, but we have a Delver on 1, and we'll see how it goes from here. Kabira Crossroads. Okay, so they just have a tap land. I don't think we have any way to manipulate the top of our library here, so we do not get the flip. It is a Tellurian Terror. So we will just attack for 1. And we are likely to Island Cycle this Lorien Revealed. Let's pop out these graveyards. Likely to Island Cycle Lorien Revealed here. Lembas. I mean, I'm just going to Force Spike while the Force Spiking is good. This stops them from being able to cast a Familiar next turn. So let's go ahead and Island Cycle. All right. Let's get the blind flip. Thought Scour? Ooh, that might turbo us into some heat here. Let's Thought Scour ourselves. We hit Mental Note. So we have 4 spells. We're not quite there yet. If we cycle Lorien Revealed, then we should have it. Let's see if they have a Bog. No, just a Plains. Oh, they might be a little mana screwed here. Or at the very least, not have all their colors. They might have a hand full of black spells here. End step. They're taking an action. Thraben Charm. Well, I think they're trying to exile the graveyard. I will dispel Thraben Charm. Nice Thraben Charm. It's such a versatile card. Thraben Charm has been a really cool include to the format. Hello. That's my partner, Hana. Let's draw a card. I got distracted by a beautiful woman. I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we can just dump our terrors into play. Okay, cool. So we got a little lucky that they have missed on black mana. Looks like they have a bit of a rough start on their end, but we had a pretty good start, and we're able to get 2 terrors in play by turn 4. Oh, they might have multiple Glinthawks in hand. If that's the case, they have like no other artifacts to bounce. So they just played the Ancient Den, tapped it, played the Glinthawk, bounced the Ancient Den. Okay. Okay, 3 mana, Prismatic Strands. Okay, cool. That's going to fog us for a turn. Prismatic Strands is a pretty good one. What do we draw? Murmuring Mystic. Murmuring Mystic is a pretty good one. All right, so they can kind of strands us for a little bit here. Okay, they finally have black mana. But we have a pretty nice board. Wonder if this is Tithing Blade. It's cast down on Murmuring Mystic. Say that 5 times fast. All right, we draw. They can still strands. Let's see if we find a counter spell here. That would be pretty sweet. Hey, we found exactly counterspell. Okay, I'm just going to full swing. I don't mind if we trade the Delver. That's totally fine. They'll probably block, tap, cast Prismatic Strands. And we will counterspell the Strands. And then they don't have a white creature in play. Just Strands out of the graveyard again. They go to 4, so both of these terrors are lethal. Let's see what they have. The Tithing Blade. I'm going to sacrifice Cryptic Serpent because Tolarian Tower has Ward. Okay, they have a blocker. Okay. We draw Island. So we're just going to force the chump block. And we're just going to pass. I'm just going to hold it. They sack the clue. They're going to draw a card. Okay. They have 3 cards. Yep. Of course, Skyfisher picking up Tithing Blade. That's going to set us back some. Okay. Well, they were able to claw back into this game. It was very impressive. Okay. Nothing doing. I take a Lorien Revealed. Or another Terror. Another Terror is fine. They still need to answer it. They do have a lot of ways to do so, though. Refurbished Familiar. That's fine, because it means they don't draw a card. Yep, discard this island. They play Bridge. And no attack. Wisely not attacking. I'm going to play Murmuring Mystic out. And then attack. Could have attacked first. But this is fine. Okay, they chump block with the Familiar. No Ephemerate. Alright, another Familiar. They get to draw a card this time because I have no cards in hand. It's a really good card. I would just love any spell. Lorien Revealed especially. Okay, Bajuka Bog. That's fine. We already have our Terror in play. So now I just basically want to draw anything that isn't a Delver or a Terror. Are they crafting? No, they don't have enough mana to craft. What are they doing? Oh, they do have enough mana to craft. They're just choosing what to craft, I think. Oh, they're going to attack? No. No, they choose not to. Well, Lorien Revealed's a pretty good one. Sometimes you just draw the card. We'll make a 1/1 with a Murmuring Mystic. And now our hand is gas. We can get in with the Murmuring Mystic too. It's a little cheeky attack. What is this? Thraben Charm. Oh, okay. All right. Interesting. Okay. So this is something I definitely should have thought about. So I should have remembered, I don't know why I forgot in this moment, that the Thraben Charm is equal to twice the number of creatures you control. It is not equal to the number of creatures you control, so I should not have attacked with a Murmuring Mystic here. And honestly, I kind of feel like they should kill the Murmuring Mystic because these birds are actually going to be a little bit more of a problem. But getting the Terror off the table is really good for them. So, you know, can't really fault them either way. That's a good learning moment for me. It was just like, that was like, felt like a cheeky attack because I was like, oh, well, then they have to put the 2/1 in front of the Terror and the 2/3 in front of the Murmuring Mystic so I can, like, definitely get the Familiar off the table if I present a block like this or an attack like this. But it was just a foolish attack. But it looks like either way I lose a creature. I would just like to hold on to the Murmuring Mystic. The Murmuring Mystic is going to run away with this game, I think. How do we want to start this? I mean, I think I'm just going to cast Lorien Revealed again. Ideally hit an island. We don't. We miss. Okay. So they get another turn to kind of do whatever they want here within reason. But eventually we will make more birds than they can handle. Okay. I'm going to discard the Delver of Secrets. I don't really care about having the 3/2. I just want spells. I just want spells with as long as Murmuring Mystic survives. I just want spells. I just want to make as many birds as possible. I'm gonna start with a mental note trigger. See what we find. See what they got going on over there. Nothing. Mill. We find Brainstorm. I'll Brainstorm. Maybe I should have started with a Brainstorm. We're still warming up. We're still warming up here, folks. Okay. If we can find like a 1-mana counter spell, like a Steel Sabotage, or I think we've already cast the Dispel. Check our exile. Yes. They're doing something. The Raven Charm to exile the graveyard. That's fine. Do not care. Okay, so we got Steel Sabotage. We also hit land. So we hit land. We probably don't need the Force Spike. So let's put Force Spike land on top because I don't think we need any of that. Don't need any of that at all. Okay, so we're just going to pass. And then hopefully we can set up a nice attack next turn. They're at 6. Okay, they concede. Yeah, so what we could do if their card is irrelevant, then end of turn we can Steel Sabotage their familiar. So they got onto 1 blocker. We get another bird, and then that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 6 exactly. So we only need to cast like 1 more spell, and we have enough to get through 1 blocker. And I would ideally cast 2 spells so we have an extra 1 in case they drew like a cast down or 3-bit charm or something. So we managed to get that one. They clawed back into it, but we managed to stay in the game. Whew, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna get these Delvers out of here. I think on the draw. I think I'll put this Sleep of the Dead in here. We'll see how that works. And then the only other question is, do I want a couple of boomerangs maybe? Maybe like 1 or 2. Thinking about this annul. Might get like 1 annul. Let's play 2 boomerangs and an annul. It might not be correct to cut the Delvers here, but that's just where my mind is at. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe that's just wrong. Maybe we don't want Sleep of the Dead because they have like Bajuka Bogs and things like that. We'll keep the annul. Actually, maybe we'll play another annul because we're on the draw, so we have more answers like that. Maybe we'll trim a Delver. We'll just do 3 Delvers. That's fine. Right? Magic isn't a science. Magic is an art. This is an interesting hand. So we have Thought Scours to fuel to something, but nothing to fuel to. Looks like our opponent has lost connection. And we have a counterspell. I'm kind of down to keep this. I feel like this is a good hand in the blind. If they have a bunch of graveyard interaction, this could potentially be awkward. But I think we'll try it. 3 islands, 3 Thought Scour, and a counterspell. I think we'll try it. Okay, they go bridge, pass. We draw another counterspell. 2 mana. 1 mana, just the Raven Inspector. Yep. Raven Inspector, pass. All right, we're going to Thought Scour. We pick up Cryptic Serpent. We mill Counterspell Mental Note. We have a Delver. Okay, so now the question is, are we going to hold up Counterspell or are we going to play the Delver? I think I'm going to hold up the Counterspell. I think we've learned that Delver is just kind of whatever in the matchup. Like it's good if it's something we can develop very early. Like last game, we were able to get in a little bit of game with it. Okay. Inspector coming in. Go to 19. Glinthawk. Fine with the Glinthawk. Pick up the clue. Fascinating. Okay. I'm going to Thought Scour. There's a chance they Thraben Charm here. So, yep. Okay, here comes the Thraben Charm. So there's a chance I should have just done nothing. And there's also a chance that they should do nothing here as well. Okay, so this Thraben Charm is going to resolve, but I'm going to get off one more Thought Scour. Now we've got a pretty interesting hand. And I think I will develop the Delver now, because we can still hold up Counterspell. We've got triple Counterspell, 2 Terrors, and a Mental Note. I mean, one of these Terrors is a Cryptic Serpent, but y'all know what I mean at this point. So they can get in here. Get in for 3, sure. Orzhov Basilica. Bouncing a land. Okay, I'm just going to untap here this time. I'm not going to get caught by another Thraben Charm. We will flip Delver. We draw Thought Scour. Okay. And so now, if we hit 2 spells with one of these, we can play Cryptic Serpent. We don't. We hit 1. However, we did hit a land. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So the question is, let's see. They have planes in hand. I feel like they potentially could have bogged us last turn if they had Bojuka Bog. The question is, do we want to Thought Scour, like just attack, pass, hold up Counterspell, Thought Scour at end of turn, Counterspell, ideally a second Thraben Charm, because they've been holding up this 2 mana several times, and then we get to untap and play, especially if we draw 5th land, we get to play Serpent, Terror, and hold up another Counterspell. I kind of like that line. Like, we could just jam a Serpent here. Absolutely we could. It would just leave our shields down, and with triple Counterspell in hand, I really, really want to convert a couple of these at least one before we get Terror going. They could just fire it off right here too. Nope. Okay, they're just gonna untap. Let's see if they play the planes. They do play the planes. Okay, so no Bojuka Bog, so this works out so far. Okay, they're holding back the Glinthawk. Prismatic Strands is on the table now as well. They're just passing. I'm going to Thought Scour. Okay. And we have a Force Spike. That might not come up, but here we are. Okay, here's that Thraben Charm that I had a feeling was there. So let's Counterspell the Thraben Charm and hope they don't have a third. We get to untap, fam. Okay. All right, cool, great. And we have a Murmuring Mystic to back them up. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plenty. All right, let's cast Cryptic Serpent. Let's cast Terror. And we'll only be able to leave up Force Spike this turn, but I'm totally fine with that. We can Force Spike a Prismatic Strands here. At least the first half. So then that's the question. Do we just Force Spike now? Or we just let them eat it? Actually, yeah, I'm going to Force Spike now because it forces them to, if they really want to eat this Delver, they have to Strands again right now, and then they don't have Strands again on the next attack. So this is fine. So we're trading Delver and a Force Spike for both casts of one single prismatic strands, and I feel pretty cool with that. And now we have double counterspell with Murmuring Mystic as backup threat. Feeling pretty good. We needed to dodge that Bajugabog on the turn where they bounce planes, and I felt like that meant that the planes could potentially be the only land they had in hand. But they could have just drawn Bajugabog, and we managed to dodge that. And they didn't have a third Thraben Charm. They did have the strands, though. So they cast down Cryptic Serpent. We're going to get in with Glinthawk. And now I feel like we're in pretty good shape. I'm going to get in with Terror. Hits. We'll run out of Serpent. Hold up Counterspell. And I feel like we're in the driver's seat. A lot can happen. These black-white decks have a lot of tools at their disposal. I'm going to keep chipping in with the Glinthawk. We're down to 11. They play another Glinthawk. I think I'm fine with that. They're probably going to have to block with one of them at some point. Pick up the bridge, replay the bridge. They still only have one card in hand, and we have it covered with Counterspell. Prismatic Strands. Okay, we can technically counter both halves. So we're going to counter this. Draw. Prismatic Strands. I'm going to counter it. Can we draw? It's another Terror. All right, just going to swing. I feel like otherwise they go to 1. Oh, they're going to go to 1. Ooh. They're going to go to 1, which means they really can only attack with one Glinthawk unless they drew a Tithing Blade. Lembas? Okay. It still doesn't get them out of range of one Serpent, so we'll see what they draw. Inspiring Overseer. Okay. And a Novice Inspector. Okay, so they have presented quite a board. So they have us in 3 attacks in the air. No, 2 turn clock if they attack with the Raven Inspector. Ooh, they did not attack with Inspector. Okay, this got really close all of a sudden. Okay. So now we have interesting things to figure out. We can run out Terror and Mystic. So that means we can attack with one of them. If they draw interaction. Okay, so here's the thing. So they have 3 flyers we can't block, so we're essentially at 1. They have 2 other attackers on the ground. Okay, so we can attack. Okay, so we can attack with 1 Serpent. So I'm gonna attack with Cryptic Serpent. There's potentially a world where we can attack with both, because actually we might have been able to attack with both now that I think about it, because then they would have to block both. Okay, probably should have attacked with both, because then they block with the Raven Inspector, and then we can play these. Okay, we'll play Terror, play Mystic. Let's say go, and we'll see how many creatures they feel they can attack with. Yeah, I probably should have attacked with Terror, and then they'd have 1 less creature to block the following turn as well. That may have been our detriment. Oh, no. I got so concerned about them having the creatures on the way back, but if I attack with both creatures and they're both lethal, they have to block both, so then they would only have the flyers to attack with. And then they have to figure out how they can block. Okay, they're attacking with 2. So we have to find some spells here. We have to be able to make tokens, at least one token, with Murmuring Mystic here. They also must have at least one way to answer. Thorn of the Black Rose. Okay. Now that is a little scary. So they can block everything. So we need a spell. That's not a spell. Oh no, fam, we're gonna die in the air. Oh, we needed to attack. Oh no. Okay, well, we needed to attack. So, well, we're not totally out of it. If we attack with all 3 creatures, they have to block. They can go up to 5 if they crack Lembas. So that means they have to block every single serpent, which means that Murmuring Mystic can get in and steal the Monarch back, which means that if we draw a spell, then we can block. If we draw an instant, we can then block one of the Glint Hawks with the bird token, ideally, that Murmuring Mystic will make. So that is our out now, because we missed attacking with both creatures last turn, and that potentially cost us the game, but we do technically still have an out here. They have to block all the terrors, one of which is going to trade with the Thorn, which is obnoxious, but they have to block everything. We get the Monarch back, or I guess we get it at all. Okay. They go to 1. We become the Monarch. We run out Delver. And then we cross our fingers. Instant, 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 instant. Instant that's not a counterspell. Please. Please, instant that's not a counterspell. Like that's... Tilt. Yeah, they're just going to go right to attacks. We'll give them the GGs. That's going to be it, fam. Alas. Wow. Yeah, okay. So it all really comes down to that little minute detail of, like, really take a second to really think about exactly how the math works on the race back and forth. Because if I had correctly identified that they needed, that they weren't going to have both Thraben Inspectors if I attacked with both. If I attack with one, they can just chump the one and they still have an extra blocker. And that made the difference between them being able to attack with 2 Glint Hawks on the previous turn to make a 2-turn clock, rather than them only being able to attack with 1 if they needed to leave another creature back to block on the previous turn. So it was potentially our game to win. I mean, they still have a few more cards in hand. We drew, what, a Delver and a Spell Pierce, so it's still not completely over, but we at least would have had a much better spot. So definitely a spot where we could have won, potentially, but went a little too quick. All right, we'll be back for game 3. All right, we are back for match 3. Hard to mulligan a double Brainstorm hand. I'm going to try this. We'll see what our opponent is on here. We've got a snow-covered island. So this, my instinct tells me blue-red terror with Skred, potentially. But it could be Familiars. Or no, not Familiar. Jeskai Ephemerate, potentially. They play Snowlands and Skred from time to time. Okay. So it looks like they're cycling. Island cycling, Loring revealed. They'll probably just Brainstorm on their turn. And then ideally untap Boomerang a land. Like if they find a tap land here. Interested to see what they cycle for. Volatile Fjord. So Boomeranging that will be fun. Ponder. Let's Brainstorm in response to the Ponder. Well, we're going to Boomerang their land, so it doesn't super matter what we put back at this time. So we'll just put Island Delver back. We'll let them Ponder. Okay. All right, so they just play the Volatile Fjord. I'm going to take this opportunity to boomerang the Fjord. Say go. And if they do the same thing again, if they just play Fjord again, because we have Island coming off the top, we'll play Delver and a Boomerang. So now they could potentially have some interaction. Play Delver. I'm going to pop out Graveyards here. Do I want to fight over the Boomerang here? I don't think I do. I think I'd rather leave up a variety of options. Island cycle here. Okay, we'll let them island cycle. And then, all right, now we're going to Boomerang again. Now that they've tapped out. They get snow-covered island. Now we'll Boomerang the Fjord again. Go ahead. Okay, Boomerang is sick. The first couple matchups, Boomerang didn't have a chance to really do what it's doing here. But we are consistently putting our opponent behind. Okay, let's brainstorm in response to the trigger. I want all of these. So if we keep Island, so Brainstorm goes to the bin. I wonder if we can just turbo out 2 terrors here. So Brainstorm is spell 4, so we just need 2 more spells in the bin. So if we put Counterspell Consider on top, then we get to play 2 terrors. Right? Is that how that works? No, that's not quite how that works. Okay, that's not how that works. Because we're going to draw one of them. So then consider Thought Scour. Draw Thought Scour. Get to keep Counterspell. I will reveal Thought Scour. We will draw Thought Scour. We will attack first. Actually, no, Thought Scour does do it because it gets, yeah, Thought Scour and Consider are both going to the bin. Yep, okay, we're good, we're good, we're good. What am I saying? What am I saying? Okay, Thought Scour, us. And we hit Lorien Revealed. Terror 1. I don't think they have 4 spikes. They might have 4 spikes. They could have a 4 spike here. But they do not. And we have 2 terrors in play. And they got nada. Okay, Boomerang proving its place in this version of the deck. Very impressive. I mean, it's just going to be good in the format with so many tap lands running around. All right, we got a Lightning Bolt on the Delver. We know they have at least one other island in hand from the second Lorien Revealed. I think they're just deciding if they want to play it and hold up Counterspell or something else. Looks like they might be pondering, potentially. They are pondering. There's the island. They can cast Terror if they had it. Okay, now all right. I was thinking if we drew land with Lorien Revealed, but now we just very simple. Just leave up 2 counter spells. Hope that we can just attack twice and win. We should be able to get in for 10 here because they didn't do anything. Now we ideally get to just counter 2 relevant spells, and we go from there. Let the Brainstorm go. We're basically only countering blockers and or removal. And none of their removal can deal with the terrors right now, so we don't even really have to worry about that. We really only have to worry about a terror from their side. Tune the narrative. Okay, so they must be playing Galvanic Discharge as well. So they are playing some of the energy cards, which is something we called out in our MH3 episode. Galvanic Discharge. Oh, I see. So they're going to get a bunch of mana. Well, I'm just going to counterspell. And that will be game 1. Yep. Okay. Okay. So, I love Dispel here. I like Murmuring Mystics here. And then some number of Hydroblasts, because they also have Red Blast, so maybe bring in like a couple Hydroblasts, maybe? Something like that. Maybe an Echoing Truth, because they are also going to have Murmuring Mystics. Let's get rid of the Sleep of the Dead. Let's trim on... Boomerang was really good there, but we are on the draw. We'll trim a couple Boomerangs on the draw. Could potentially trim them all, given we're bringing in Echoing Truth and some more interaction like that. Yeah, maybe we'll just cut all the Boomerangs on the draw. And then trim Consider? That's fine. There's a lot of matchups I feel like you would just cut your deep analysis as well. Deep analyses as well. They mulligan to 6. I'm going to keep this. Delver Brainstorm, Hydroblast hand is fine. Tap land. I wonder if I just want to Brainstorm on the end step and then play Delver with Hydroblast backup. I'm going to do that. See how that works out for us. Ponder. And step Brainstorm. Okay. So I want to put 2 spells on top. So I want to put Deep Analysis and then draw Spell Pierce. The Deep Analysis is on top of our deck. Run out the Delver. See what they want to do. Looks like nothing. Okay, that bodes well for us. Galvanic Discharge. I will Hydroblast the Galvanic Discharge. We'll see if they want to counterspell in return. So I imagine they're doing this to play around Spell Pierce. They are paying costs. Pyroblast, my Hydroblast. Okay. So Delver down. But we get a Pyroblast out of their hand, which is huge. We draw Deep Analysis. Let's start things off with the Brainstorm. They are F6'd. I don't really want to put... Trying to think of what it makes sense to get Mental Note bin. So I think we'll go Deep Analysis, Cryptic Serpent. And then if we hit land here, we're golden. So I'm gonna Mental Note. We miss on land, but that's fine. We have the tools. Okay, they just pass. I'm gonna go ahead and Island Cycle. The Lorien Revealed we just drew. Play the island. Let's run out of terror. Okay. I'm gonna leave up Spell Pierce here in case they have like Pyroblast, Pay Ward, then we can Spell Pierce. Cycle Lorien Revealed, that's fine. No stifles here, snow covered island. Just gonna untap. Draw. Another Delver. Let's attack first before we do anything else. Let's run out another Terror. I don't know whether it's better to run out like a Delver as a potential second threat, or if the Terror is better, but I think Terror is just really strong. Crimson Fleet Commodore. When enters, you become the Monarch. Do you want to put the Monarch in the game? I'm kind of okay with the Monarch in the game. That's fine with me. We could draw into Hydroblast, I guess. Might as well brainstorm here. Let's get rid of these Delvers. I'm gonna Island Cycle. Just shuffle the Delvers away. Draw. Thought Scour. Let's attack. Take the Monarch from them. And put them to 5 too. If they really wanna have this be a game about the Monarch, then they are sorely mistaken here. That's gonna do them well, I think. But they could have something that I'm unaware of. So we play the Cryptic Serpent. We're gonna hold up Counterspell or Thought Scour Spell Pierce. We've got a Murmuring Mystic for next turn. Feeling good. Feeling pretty good. Galvanic Discharge on a Terror. I'm going to let this happen. I feel like they... Yeah, I'm just going to let this happen. This is totally fine with me. Yep. That's fine. Maybe that was a misclick. Yeah, all right, we win the match. I think they definitely want to take out the Cryptic Serpent. But even then, if they attack them, they're just dead on the crackback. So, curious. On to match 4. All right, we are finally on the play. Let's go. I like this hand. Delver plus Boomerang or Force Spike. We could potentially go Delver on 1, Delver hold up Force Spike on 2, which is pretty sick. Could also just hold up Boomerang or Counterspell on turn 2. We're going to need a blind flip here, but that's totally fine. Black mana. Duress. Okay. Let's see what they take. My first thought is either this is the black-green Brood Scale deck, or this is Gardens. So let's see if we get the blind flip. We do. We get a Lorien revealed off the top. That's great news for us. I'm going to run out this other Delver, and we'll hold up Force Spike. Because if this is Brood Scale, we're going to want the Boomerang for the combo. But either way, I kind of like leaving up Force Spike here. We could also cycle with Lorien revealed if we need to. Tree of Tails. Huh. Interesting. I'm just gonna untap. Let's see if we blind flip the other one. We do. Let's go. I guess I could have cycled, because I guess I don't want to draw another one. Okay. Let's attack for 6. If it is Gardens, though, another thought I have with the Tree of Tails is it could be something like Gardens with Refurbished Familiar, which is, you know, not totally out of the question and would be a reason to run artifact lands. Okay, cycling a Wilt. Okay, I'm a little lost, but I'm sure something will be made clear shortly. Foreboding Landscape. Okay, this is the Sultai Cycling Land for Modern Horizons 3. This might be a sick little brew going on here. So, interested to see how this goes down. Deadly Dispute. Sure. Sacking your Tree of Tales. Chromatic Star. I still don't think it's worth boomeranging here. I'm just going to draw. We're getting close to this Lorien revealed. And we are just presenting a lethal attack on the next turn. So do we just boomerang? Keeps them on 3 mana? What's the difference between 3 and 4? I mean, 1 mana, technically. Ha 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 ha. Okay. I'm just going to pass. We'll see what's up. They could put a flying blocker in the way. They know about the boomerang, though, so... Stacking the treasure. Okay, it is Brood Scale. Okay, cool. Interesting. I feel like if that were me, I would not have revealed that. Sadistic Glee. They've played a land. I'm just going to boomerang the Brood Scale. Just to play safe. I don't think they can... I don't think they have the mana to adapt. Snakeskin Veil. I mean, they played a land, right? We just force spike the Snakeskin Veil. Yeah, okay. Weird sequencing, but they are the Golgari version of the Brood Scale deck. So let's bring in Echoing Truths. Let's bring in Dispel. The Sleep of the Dead might be good if we're able to stop them from going infinite with a sort of engine, but if they just make a giant lizard, we can potentially keep it tapped down with Sleep of the Dead, which could be good. What about Steel Sabotage? Return to our artifact. We might want the Steel Sabotage because they have all these artifact lands too. So let's think about this. We can cut Deep Analysis. I like boomerangs. Let's cut the Force Spikes because they're gonna make a decent amount of extra mana, but I think Spell Pierce is still fine. So I definitely want Echoing Truths. I want at least 2 Steel Sabotage, and I want this Dispel. Let me trim a Consider. And then the question is, do I want this other Sleep of the Dead? That might be a little overkill. And do I want a 3rd Steel Sabotage? I don't think so. I kind of like 1 Consider. Call me crazy, but it could be fine. We're on the draw. Maybe a Force Spike is better than the Consider, but this is fine. Let's try this. I haven't actually gotten to play against the Golgari version quite yet, so this will be interesting. Consider and Thought Scour with 2 terrors. We got a Counterspell Boomerang. I think this hand is fine to keep. Okay, they play just colorless land on 1. Okay, cool. So we have a bevy of options for our very first turn. We could Thought Scour, try and hit land. We can just cycle with Lorien Revealed, which I think is the most likely thing I'm going to be doing. We could also Consider. They sack the landscape to go get a swamp. For a second, I was like, they played a colorless land. I'm like, oh yeah, it's an Evolving Wilds, kind of. Energy Refractor. Cool. Yeah, let's just cycle Lorien Revealed. Get an island. Pop out these graveyards. Untap. Okay, Spell Pierce is pretty good here. We also have Counterspell up. So we have, just like already, we have a bunch of options. We got 2 terrors waiting in the wings and a bunch of interaction plus ways to dig us closer. I think I'm going to Spell Pierce the Duress. We just have a lot in hand that we care about. Like, I really don't want them to take the Boomerang or the Counterspell. Chromatic Star is fine. Okay, here, instead of Thought Scouring, I'm going to consider, because we're specifically looking for a land, and I want to leave this on top. Okay, we're going to draw. Lowering Revealed is great. We can just pass. Wait, right? Yeah, I still want to hold up, like, Boomerang, Counterspell, all that. And ideally, we get to a spot next turn where if we don't have to do anything, I think we can, like, Thought Scour, Island Cycle. Maybe we wanted to Island Cycle to make sure we could play. No. That was just our third land. We're on the draw. Thomas, whew, pay attention. Getting ahead of myself here. Oh, boy. Okay. They're going to sack the star, draw a card, make a green mana, play another landscape. Playing a Brood Scale. I think I'll Counterspell this. That's totally fine. Now the question is, are we going to Thought Scour or are we going to Island Cycle? So that puts 5 in the bin. Thought Scour definitely... If we draw a land after Thought Scour and a Thought Scour hits one other spell, we can hold up Boomerang and play both terrors. So I think I'm going to Thought Scour. We may also want to refuel with this Lowering Revealed. All right, we did exactly that. We found our 4th land. Thought Scour hit another Thought Scour, so we are good to go. 2 Boomerangs. Loving it. Play a Terror. Play another Terror. This feels awesome. God, I love this deck. This deck is so sick. Snuff Out. Okay. They're paying the ward. I think I have to let this go. Boomeranging my own terror doesn't feel great. I'd rather be able to hold up interaction if they can go off this turn. Nadir's Nightblade. Does it have Death Touch? It does not. It is a blocker. We could potentially just Boomerang here. I'm going to think better of that. Okay, that's pretty sick. So let's attack first. See if they block. They do not block. So now do I want 2 Boomerangs? Or do I want another Cryptic Serpent? I think I'm going to play the Cryptic Serpent and push them, especially being up a game. I want to try and put as much pressure on them as possible here to feel like they have to go for it. And they have to commit a lot of mana to making these things happen. And they played... All right, so there's statistically. So we're going to Boomerang. And we'll see if the final... All right, that's Snakeskin Veil, but I think they're... All right, but they can't go off this turn. Wait, can they? Wait, are they able... No, wait. Oh, they can. Oh, because that makes a dude, right? Oh, shoot. Okay, yeah, they can do it. Okay, damn. So what we needed to do was to Boomerang the Nightblade is actually what we need to do, because then Snakeskin Veil on that lets them do it, and now they can go off because Nadir Nightblade is a source to go off. Okay, so if we had Boomerang the Nightblade, then I think we're in a better spot there. Okay, I'm gonna bring these 4 spikes back in on the play. Trim and consider. And Let's get this Sleep of the Dead out of here. I don't think that's what this game is going to be about. Okay, so now we know. See, learning moment. It's always about learning. Okay, we are back for game 3 of our match against Broodscale. This hand is a little tricky. Delver into counterspell plus a bunch of terrors without much way to fuel them. I feel like this is a mulligan, and this is definitely a mulligan. Okay, we're gonna keep this one. We gotta put 2 cards away. It's probably gotta be a terror and one of these echoing truths, unfortunately. So this one's gonna be a little rough, but we can make it happen. All right, we're gonna cycle this Lorien Revealed. What a sick card. Okay, so we have something to do. Though I'm likely to just boomerang. Boomerang their land here. Duress. Yeah, I'm just gonna boomerang their swamp. Let them duress. They probably take the mental note, but if they don't, then that's fine with me too. We're gonna need some help digging out of this anyway. Okay, they do take the Echoing Truth. There's a world where we just get to play Terror. And that's step 1. So if we hit at least one other spell, which we do, we get to play Terror. Okay. So we have Tolarian Terror in play. And we're ahead on lands. But we need some help. Let's see what they play on 2. They're going to snuff out. Okay. All right. All right, we have Steel Sabotage in hand. Not the best in the world. And thinking back, maybe Steel Sabotage is better in the against the Jund versions of the deck because they have so many artifact lands. So we'll just bounce this Tree of Tales. Oh boy. I'd really like to hold on to this, but I find it unlikely that we are going to win this game. Mesmeric Fiend. Okay, well, I will Island Cycle then. So they're going to see the island in hand. And get in for 2. I feel like this bodes well, because if they just had Sadistically, we were dead. So the fact that we're still alive bodes well for us. I feel like this has got to be Snakeskin Veil. So they know about the island. We at least kind of have some interaction here. Snakeskin Veil. They're trying to draw it out now. I will boomerang it now. Okay. Interesting. So they'll replay the Broodscale. I wonder if they want to adapt now. Oh, okay. Okay, interesting. I feel like if they ran out the Veil like that on the end of my turn, they've got to have another one. So, and that is gonna do it. They can make an infinitely large lizard, and then we are dead. Just let them do it once. Cool. I will concede. Damn. Another close one where I feel like we made a slight error. at the last minute in that second game if we had bounced the Nightblade. Let's think about that. If we had, actually, you know what? Hold on. We can pop right into. We can pop right into it actually. Okay, so we're in the replay from our second game in this match against Brutescale here. So here's where we attack with Terror, and we are considering whether we're going to play the Cryptic Serpent or the Boomerang, and I think we're still correct to play out the Cryptic Serpent and present pressure, because 6 plus 5 is 11. That's lethal. So here they play the Brutescale, and then they play the Sadistically. So in this spot, if they have one other card in hand, and we find out it's the that it's the Snakeskin Veil. So this is a timing issue on my part. So this is the unfamiliarity of the matchup, I think, because if I wait to Boomerang, because they're going to Snakeskin Veil here. Because if I wait to Boomerang, then they have 2 mana. The only 2 mana they have is the mana to adapt. So if they do that, if they pay 2 to adapt, then I can Boomerang when they're tapped out, and they're tapped out of Snakeskin Veil. Alternately, I think a winning line here is, instead of Boomeranging the Brutescale, if I Boomerang the Nightblade, what happens? So let's pretend we've rewound a step, and the Snakeskin Veil, and just the Sadistically is on the stack. They have a Swamp and a Forest untapped, and 1 card in hand, which we later find out is Snakeskin Veil. Even if it's Snakeskin Veil, then they save their Nightblade, and they don't have enough mana to adapt with the Brutescale. So if we Boomerang the Nightblade and then let Sadistically happen, they can make a huge Lizard, but they just have no payoff. So they make a huge Lizard and 1 spawn, and then we can untap, Boomerang the Lizard. They have to chump with the spawn. They'll be tapped out of green mana. They can't Veil. So yeah, so that's definitely where we lost that. So we definitely should have Boomeranged the Nightblade, or waited to Boomerang until they decided to tap 2 to adapt the Brutescale. But if we're bouncing the Nightblade, we have to do it with the Sadistically on the stack, because if we let the Sadistically resolve and then we try to bounce it, then they can just combo off in response, and then we're dead. So yeah, another learning moment. Oh, hello. All right, our final game of this league. Let's see if we can leave the league with a positive record. I like this hand. Double Force Spike is kind of sexy. We'll keep. See what we're up against. Mountain for Voldaren Epicure. Okay, so another red deck. So we're going to hold up bevy of options. We drew a Cryptic Serpent, so we have 2 terrors on the way. Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is good to go. They're going to crack in for 3. If they do nothing, I'm just going to cast Consider. They're likely to take that opportunity to fire off a Lightning Bolt or something. They're thinking pretty hard about what they want to do here. I wonder if they're thinking about trying to resolve a Kuldotha Rebirth against something like Spell Pierce or Force Spike. Let's see what they do. Chain Lightning me. I will Force Spike this. Okay, so it was a sorcery speed bolt. We'll play another island, and we'll just say go. Attacks. Right, we're down to 13. Another land. Let's consider. put that in the graveyard. And I will Island Cycle Lorien Revealed. Oh boy. We only have 3 spells in the yard, so not the best sequence of draws. Just a bunch of just a bunch of islands. That's okay though. See if they sack this blood, or if they burn us on end step for some amount of damage here. No, nothing. Wow. Okay, that feels like a gift. Another Tomb Raider. These terrors might not be enough by the time we get there, though. And I might need to just fire off a Force Spike on something. And I doubt they're going to give me the opportunity to do so. So we're going to go down to 8. Yep. Okay. Oh, boy. That's rough. We can cast 1, though. Let's see if we die. Lightning Bolt me. I go to 5. Synthesizer, if it hits a bolt. Goblin Blast Runner. Okay. Cast Goblin Blast Runner. Is Bushwhacker. Bushwhacker. We're dead. Okay. Okay, so let's bring in the Hydroblasts and the Dispel. Could potentially play Sabotage. Hydroblast in. Deep Analyses and the Boomerangs out. I like at least 1 Murmuring Mystic. And then do we want the Sleep? Do we want Steel Sabotage? Do we want an Echoing Truth? We potentially want 1 Echoing Truth for all the Kuldotha Rebirth tokens. But maybe not on the play, because I think Force Spike is stronger on the play. I will hold on to a Sleep of the Dead. And probably just the 1 Mystic. So 4 mana is a lot, but Murmuring Mystic can be very good in the matchup. All right. This hand is great. We'll keep this. Plenty of interaction. We got 2 counter spells here. And a Hydroblast. So we are sitting pretty. Plus a couple of mill cantrips. So we'll see if they have the Relic on 1. They do not. So we will Mental Note to start things off. We mill 2 Cryptic Serpents, which is a little unfortunate. That's okay. I think I'm going to run out of Delver. We've got so many counter spells. The only thing this doesn't beat is Relic with a mana open. But that's fine, because we're not really doing that right now. Tomb Raider. I feel like I can let this happen. I can Hydroblast it later. All right, attack with both. Yep, they attack with both. Go to 16. I just want Force Spike to deal with whatever they might interact with here and save Hydroblast. All right, well, I'll Force Spike this. That's fine. Okay. Let's see if we blind flip. We do not. I will attack. There's no reason not to. Okay. Starting to feel a little precarious. I'm going to Hydroblast this 2/2. Feeling pretty comfy with double counter spell in hand. Really don't want to take any more damage than I have to before we get this Delver to flip. Blast Runner. Okay, I think I gotta let that one happen. Epicure. Okay. Okay. Thought Scour myself. Ooh, Hydroblast. Let's flip. No, but Murmuring Mystic will be good down the line. Can't attack. See if they want to use their mana to crack a blood token here for the Blast Runner. I would be surprised if they didn't. So I'm going to say no blocks. I'm going to do this now. Go to 12. Nothing. All right, can we get a flip? That's fine, though. We'll take a 5/5. And we can attack with Delver this time, so... Not the best, but not the worst. Lightning Bolt me. Okay. All right. 9 is starting to feel like a dangerous range to be in. Especially because like 2 Galv Blasts with 1 more artifact puts us to 1. So if they have like Great Furnace here, it's not great for us. What is this? Bushwhacker kicked. I'm going to counter that. Okay. Hasn't seemed like they've had red blasts in hand either. Lightning Bolt me. Okay, go to 6. No attack? You attack there, right? Put me to 5? Okay, finally get to flip our Delver. Now we're in a spot where, like, can we attack? I think I have to Island Cycle this. We get to counterspell something. Can we attack is the question. And if we attack, can we attack with both? I feel like I can attack with Terror. I feel like that's the safe attack. Yeah, if you're not blocking, then just attack. Like, put me to 5, because then I definitely can't attack with both. Implement of Combustion. Okay, I have to let this one go. It's unfortunate that it's another point of damage. So I'm gonna go to 5 here. They get another card out of it. Still no attack. What are we doing? Okay, this is interesting. So... I mean, Bolt, we die. That's kind of a given. Can I afford to just play Murmuring Mystic? Is the question. Because if I get Murmuring Mystic down, I mean, is that even good? Maybe it's better to just sleep. Yeah, let's just sleep one of these. Hold up Counterspell. Let's get in with Terror. Because if they can't kill us this turn, then we could potentially, if they don't have another creature and they can't bolt us out, then we potentially have it with Sleep of the Dead. Okay, they're sacking a blood. That's actually a good sign. Ditch the Great Furnace, so now there's no way they have Galv Blast. But we can really... Okay, we can beat 2 bolts, but we can't beat 3. Synth is fine. We get to see what Synth hits. Synth hits Golgari Rebirth, which kind of puts a damper on this plan. But I think we can counterspell it. Right? If they're sacking Synth, then we get to see what Synth hits first, right? Yeah, because it's additional cost, so it'll go on the stack. Okay, so they're sacking the blood token. So that's huge for us. So I think we have to counterspell this in order to stick with our plan of Sleep of the Dead to win. And if they have a bolt, they lose still. Implement. Okay, cool. We got it. Whew, that was pretty tight. But we managed to navigate it just fine. Cool. I guess they could draw exactly Fire Blast if they're playing Fire Blast. And now they can't because we drew Dispel. Okay, we have it covered. Exile these Cryptic Serpents from my graveyard. Sleep that. Attack for 8. Cool. Okay. Whew, that worked out. I'm really glad that we didn't play the Murmuring Mystic. I just realized, like, with what was actually going on in the game, of just like needing to interact at least once a turn and just keep up the pressure, the Murmuring Mystic was not going to be it. But that Sleep of the Dead was pretty good. Murmuring Mystic, maybe not so much. Maybe we can put an Echoing Truth in here, especially on the draw. I think Murmuring Mystic is maybe a little bit of a liability. Does it make sense to play another Echoing Truth? It's close. Over like Consider. It's just another 2-mana spell though. I'm gonna play on the safe side. I'm gonna bring in the Echoing Truths and cut the Mystic that we brought in and cut one of the Considers and call that good. I like this hand. This hand is fine. They mulligan to 6, even better. I think a Hydroblast would make this hand really great, but I'm not going to complain. So we'll probably lead on Brainstorm. We got 2 islands, 2 serpents, 3 spells. Okay, implement on 1 is a good sign for us. So we'll just pass here. We drew Thought Scour. We just kind of need to dodge a relic, but we can probably force them to pop it if they have it. Another implement. Okay, not the strongest start from them, but this could be like Golgari Rebirth. No, nothing. Okay, interesting. In the blind, I think I'm just gonna Thought Scour. Just start filling up our graveyard. Okay, we hit a Sleep of the Dead, and we drew Hydroblast. That's huge. Okay. So the question is, do we want to develop this Delver of Secrets or hold up this counterspell? I think I'm gonna develop this Delver of Secrets. I think I'm feeling frisky. They just untap, so they don't want to Lightning Bolt the Delver if they have Lightning Bolt or Galv Blast. Grey Furnace, Galv Blast is online. Chain Lightning, Delver of Secrets. I will attempt to Hydroblast the Chain Lightning. That worked. Golgari Rebirth. Double Rebirth? No, just another Combustion. Okay. Okay, great. So we managed to make it through their hand. I'm gonna Brainstorm so we guarantee flip this Delver. Island Mental Note. Reveal Mental Note. Yes. Draw Mental Note. Play island. I think we're just gonna hold counterspell. Yeah, I'm gonna start attacking. We're basically trading 3 a turn. Like, they could pop an implement, get an extra point in. We have counterspell covered for a bushwhacker. Feeling pretty good about starting to race, because we're also gonna get a couple 6/5s into play pretty quick here. All right, they're gonna put us to 19 and draw a fresh card. Looks like they're attacking. Blast Runner. I'm just going to counterspell that. That's totally fine. Okay. And we knew this island was there too. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just dump a couple serpents into play. Sick. All right. All right, 2 6/5s, go. Plus, if we draw an island, we can just draw 3 cards. We can also Sleep of the Dead, some of their stuff now. Sleep of the Dead proving to be very impressive. I'm glad I swapped in a couple copies. Okay. They're just cracking their implements, drawing some cards. We're at 14. They found a mountain. Oh, it has begun to rain. Oh, hold on 1 sec, fam. I gotta go close the windows. All right, I have returned. Where to even start? I feel like our spot here is very strong. So what if we just start by attacking? Let's just start there. This is a lethal attack that I have to block at least 1 serpent. That's what they do. Let's brainstorm. I think we can put Delver and Mental Note on top. We can hold up Spell Pierce. We can shuffle things away with Lorien Revealed. Oh, I meant to play the other serpent. Silly me. Bushwhacker. This puts us to 5. Okay, so I definitely meant to play the other serpent, so that was a mistake. But I think we're going to be just fine, because we have Spell Pierce to cover either burn spell. So we go to 5. Lightning Bolt. Yep, that's fine. So this has got to be Fire Blast. No, they don't have anything. All right, we got it. We got the 3-2. Awesome. Let's take a look at the deck again real quick. Yeah, so that was super fun. We got the 3-2. We beat red twice. We beat the our middle match. I'll have to go back and look at it. But we lost to the black-white Ephemerate Refurbished Familiar deck, the Orzhov Blade deck, and we lost to Golgari Broodschale. And in both of those matches, there was just a single spot where just a single misstep made the difference between winning a game, and in the case of our second match against Orzhov Blade, winning the match entirely. So a couple of mistakes there cost us a potential trophy, but you know, Magic's hard. That's going to happen sometimes, and I haven't played with the deck in a while, and I honestly haven't played against Broodschale a ton, just because I've been so busy with other things this summer. But yeah, no, the deck was sweet. Sleep of the Dead definitely overperformed when it was good. Boomerang showed up when it needed to. Oh, it was against Blue-Red Terror, or I assumed it was Terror with Scred, like Spock's List or something like that. But yeah, no, Terror, great to play. Would have been nice to play against Gruul. Maybe we'll do some focus testing with the boys. But yeah, this was super fun. Still highly recommend the deck. Yeah, thanks for watching, and hope to do more of these down the line. Thanks, man.